Welcome to Open Comments with myself, Ash,
And me, Oliver.
where we'll discuss things openly with our guests from a variety of backgrounds and from different walks of life. Through this podcast, we hope to give you an inside look into a variety of topics with an equal mix of humour and candour. In this series, we'll touch on some of the following topics: healthcare, HR, diversity, access to technology, and lots more. We hope you enjoy our show and look forward to bringing more topics into the fold. Let's get started.
Okay, so up today we have Debbie, and Debbie is our Global Human Resource Specialist at the Open Group. And Debbie, let's just start with an easy one of what does your job entail?
Sure, thank you for inviting me today. I'm the HR manager, global specialist for the whole of the company. At present, we have 89 staff in 9 different countries. So I deal with the whole breadth of HR, recruitment, salary and benefits, training and development. So I actually am a true generalist in the meaning of the word. I don't think now I could actually go back to just recruitment or just training and development. I think I'd get bored quite easily. So I do appreciate being a generalist at this company.
And so out of the list that you just had there, you mentioned that you couldn't go back to doing just one, but do you have a favourite in particular?
I think recruitment, I do like meeting new people. I like looking at what skills we're going to need in the future at the company. I like seeing that these applicants match the skills we require. So I'd say that, but probably one a day is fine for me. I think if you're in recruitment and you literally interviewed 10 times a day, I don't know how you'd keep that the optimism you have to have with recruitment, but also the enjoyment with it. I think that would go quite quickly. So recruitment, but obviously not too much.
Nice. And when did you first have an interest in HR?
Really, when I joined this company, I knew I wanted to sort of diverse into something and I wasn't sure what. So I looked at different college courses and I saw the diploma in HR, which is run by the CIPD. And I applied for that and I studied that for 2 years and then qualified. And that was actually at Slough College, which is now Thames Valley University.
Oh, nice. And what did you like the most about studying?
I enjoyed meeting different people from different backgrounds, all training to be HR managers as well. I think because of HR, I'm the only HR person at this company and always have been. It's quite a unique position, and sometimes you feel, gosh, can I network some more? And there's always different, part of the CIPD give you a sort of chartered body you can network with, but it's so much easier networking with people when you're face to face with them. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed people just giving examples of, good HR, bad HR, the challenges we face now and what we might do in the future. So I did enjoy that as well.
Nice.
And what are some of the challenges that HR are facing right now?
At the moment, it's changed greatly over the last few years. And in fact, since COVID, it's changed a lot as well. I'd say at the moment, it is actually not so much retaining, but attracting the right talent. People are still a little bit hesitant about moving, rightly so. A lot of people had to take salary cuts during COVID. And, if you've losing a lot of money, then you're a bit sort of more not more likely to leave the company. So I think at the moment it's having the candidate pool out there and having enough of them to select the right person from. And going forward, especially at the Open Group, it's looking ahead for us, maybe next year or the year after. What sort of skills are we going to need then? It's always sort of one step ahead of what we're going to need then, and either look at training our current staff or actually looking for new staff out there as well.
That actually leads into another question of what kind of thing are you looking for with new hires in the end? Are you looking for specific skills or people skills, or what's more important to you?
To me, it's a balance, because although, for example, if I'm looking for a developer, they've got to have certain development skills. It's important, though, that person, as well as the technical skills, have all the interpersonal skills that we need at a small company like ours. More staff leave a company within the first 6 months, not because they can't actually do the job, it's because they don't fit in with the culture of the company. So in fact, it's almost as important, if not more important, we get those skills right to start with. So, flexibility, good team players, Those are two examples of skills that you're not automatically taught. It's something that sometimes you grow with, or we have to develop in our current staff as well.
Yeah.
And what sort of tips would you recommend to people, say if they're looking to work into HR for their first week, in their new role?
As an HR manager, okay. The actual course you do itself is still very theory-based, which is obviously important because you have to know, terms and conditions, employment law. But the real problem, I think, or the real issues HR specialists deal with require great interpersonal skills as well. I mean, things like effective communication comes to mind. So many problems arise in a company through either indirect or poor communication, and it sort of escalates from there. So sometimes just sitting the person down, having frank conversations counts for a great deal. So yes, you might have all those lovely HR skills in employment law and know what the latest training development plans should be, but it's really how to deal with different personalities in the workplace, which can be difficult, and you do learn as you go along, but that's something they can't really teach you. It's something you have to learn. It's a bit of a life skill as well.
Would you say as well it's quite a hands-on approach in terms of like learning as you go?
Yeah, very much. Again, you've learned, the way I looked at it, you learn the theory with the diploma, and then once you're actually at work on the job as such, you learn these other skills as well. Just like communication, teamwork, just dealing with different personalities. It is difficult sometimes, and you learn as you go along, and you might make a mistake in one instance, and then you'll learn from that and make sure you don't do it again, really.
And what qualities important to you, just generally? In
me, myself, or when I get a person to join the company?
Bit of both, really.
Bit of both, really. Okay. So I think when someone joins us, a team player is great, especially in a small company. They're going to be part of the company as a team as a whole, but they're also going to be part of their specific department team. So it's important they fit with the rest of the players in that department too. I want somebody who can enjoy their role as well in the time at the company. Yes, we all, most of us have to work for financial reasons, but it makes your life and your colleagues around you lives much better if you enjoy your role and look forward to it as well. So somebody that wants to be here rather than feels they should be here. That's important to me.
Has there been a point in your career recently where you kind of sat back and realised that you've done something really nice for someone, or has there been a point where someone's maybe come to you as the,
Yeah, I think, is this the question, achieve something great, maybe?
Sure, we can go along those lines, yeah.
I asked James Scott earlier, to my boss, and he said the hazelnut latte I made him earlier today was outstanding and great, so I'm pleased about that. I think as well, we do as a company, and I do myself, care about our employees, and this does come from the top down, the management team down, and we do try to support staff wherever we can. We do have a low staff turnover here, which hopefully is a sign that staff are valued and respected. And in my home life as well, I think what I'm proud of is I've brought up two amazing daughters who are compassionate and caring. They also take after my husband more than me and are never afraid of voicing their opinion, which brought me challenges when they were growing up. They were always saying no, but at the end they've got there as well. And also outside of work, we volunteer as fosterers for hearing dogs. So Hearing Dogs is a charity that trains dogs to work with deaf people, and we look after them on an ad hoc basis. And it's great when you see a pup that you've had at 8 weeks transform 2-3 years later into this wonderful hearing dog, which will be a great benefit to someone's life. So I get a lot of satisfaction from that as well.
How long do you usually have these dogs for?
We usually have them just for a week when the other trainers are on holiday, or maybe a weekend when someone's in hospital. It's actually a very intensive thing to train them all the time from day one. You have to go to training every week or twice a week. There's certain milestones you have to achieve. So we have this sort of relief cover, which is enough, because when you have a pup at 10 weeks for a long weekend and you're up at 4 a.m, taking it out into the garden, the novelty soon wears off. So, but we do enjoy that, and it makes we don't just do it because it makes us feel good. We actually think we're making a difference, and we both enjoy having dogs as well. So, which is great.
Yeah. So we briefly talked about it, obviously, with the dogs, but do you have any other hobbies that you
I do. I really enjoy singing in a local community choir. I've been doing that for about nearly 3 years now. There's no soloists there, we're just all a community, so we're aged from about 22, I think the youngest is, and I think we've got a lady there in her 80s as well, mostly women, but men are welcome to join. And then at Christmas time we do like in Didcot, they have a little street fair, so we go there and sing, and we might sing for various charities and old people's homes. But I really enjoy that, and one of the reasons I do is it's just so different to work. And although we get on really well as a choir, I don't know everything about everybody in the choir. We know our names, and that's about it. So you sort of go to this place once a week and nobody knows your background, and it's just great to sing for a couple of hours and then say goodbye and go back home again. So it's I find it quite a stress reliever as well, singing.
Could you give us a sample?
No. It's all copyright. You wouldn't want to lose any more listeners as well.
What tips do you have surrounding career growth?
For career growth for other people in the company?
Yes.
Okay. So I think growth and career growth is important to us all because it keeps us motivated. I think we'd all get fed up with the same routine every day with no surprises ever. We can just all set ourselves goals in and out of work, really. And we can envision, I think if we envision ourselves with what we've achieved and the good feelings that will bring, so when we've achieved that goal, that's a real motivator, a start. I think sometimes make it realistic. I think if you say, okay, I'm going to learn Chinese and it's going to be the next week, you know that's not going to happen. So, it's impossible. So be realistic what you want. And if you enjoy the path of getting to that goal, it makes it so much easier as well. So I realise sometimes in work there's some training and development needs that have to be done for the role, and it might not be your favourite thing, but you can balance that out with other training development goals where, maybe like an interpersonal skill, presentation, speaking or something like that, which you really want to do. And then I think if you enjoy the training, you'll get there a lot easier and it will be more motivating for you as well.
Nice. And if you could give some advice to your past self before starting in your respective role, what would that advice be?
Listen to others to start with. I mean, again, when you're like trained as an HR specialist, you think, I know this, I've read this before. And sometimes listening to other people and really taking on their point of view, that makes a difference as well. And again, the compromise word again. So sometimes you might think, okay, I've got to get there and achieve that. But let's listen to what everyone else has to say as well. So that's be one thing. Take your time as well. Sometimes you want to get to that place or that goal too quickly, and part of the learning process is learning things and learning your mistakes as you go along there. So take your time, don't jump too quickly as well. I think those are 2 bits I'd give myself.
So with people changing careers, obviously with lockdown and the people working from home, a lot of things recently have been that people are changing career roles and a lot later on in life. Do you have any advice for people maybe looking, or I don't know?
Do it. I mean, we spend a great deal of our lives at work, and it's really important to be happy the majority of the time. Yes, we're not all smiling every day, and there's going to be bad days you have in a job, but certainly if the bad days start to outweigh the good days, maybe it is time to look at ourselves and think maybe it is time for a change of career. And I think as you get older, it's almost like, well, this is my career path and I should be a manager in 2 years or a director in 10 years. It doesn't have to be like that. You could be a director of a big company but think, you know what, I quite fancy training to be a nurse. Do it. If it's going to make you happy, do it, because when you look back on your life, sounds quite philosophical, I know, you're probably not going to say, I wish I'd spent more time in work, are you? It's getting that balance. So really do something you enjoy. There's some saying, isn't it, about if you go to work and don't see it as work, that's what you want to achieve. So yeah, I don't think there's, and I think COVID has shown us actually that people can change career, and it's nothing that not to be ashamed, but we shouldn't sort of look badly on that at all. I think if you want to do it, do it. Again, we have to work, most of us, because of money or financial constraints, but we can always look at different goals in life, and maybe if it's not in work, maybe it's something outside work that can make you happy as well. But I know happiness is a state of mind, but it's important for us all to feel like that, I think.
Yeah, we've all had times where we're not happy with the work
Yeah,
we're doing, or not
yeah,
necessarily our jobs, but
yeah.
yeah, it's important to have an out
I think so.
or a way
Yeah,
to escape. Just
yeah, yeah.
when you've got
That work-life balance is very important, and I think nowadays, and I think as we progress, it's getting more and more important too. Probably 20 years ago, it was like, no, if you want to get on in life, you've got to stay at your desk for 12 hours a day. Not at all. You enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, have a personal life, have some hobbies, come into work. And I think when you do that, take your vacation, for example, when you do that, then you come into your work more refreshed. So, yeah.
Nice. And how has the open group shaped you into the person you are today?
I still consider myself a little introvert, and I can be quite shy, and I think it's helped me come out of myself that way. Even little things like this has helped me myself with my confidence as well. I would still probably have a problem walking into a crowded room full of people if I didn't know anybody. That would still totally freak me out. Or if I had to do a presentation in front of a lot of people, I wouldn't feel confident with that. But I know I have to push myself every so often. So I'd say it's been a good confidence builder for me for sure over the years.
Nice. And can you think the last time you achieved something great and how it made you feel?
I think when you I think I talked earlier a little bit about the greatness thing and the volunteers, the fosterers and all that. I think it's just this motivation it gives you in life and you feel more worthy. We can all get in a bit of a rut sometime in a routine, and just by doing something that is not expected of you, and also if you enjoy doing that as well, that's a good sign, I think.
Great.
Can you describe the open group in 4 words or less?
I could probably do 4 words, and they're probably all a bit HR-ish, but I'll give it a go. I think we're welcoming. Certainly, when people join, we are, and I try and do that for anybody. I mean, I've not seen you guys for a few weeks, so I'm trying to welcome you now. We're supportive. In life, we all have our good times and we have our bad times, and I think when we have staff that are not having a particularly good time, we try and support them wherever we can. We're inclusive. I love different nationalities we work with. I love dealing with all the staff from the different countries. I think that's great. And respected as well. I think we respect ourselves, we respect our peers, and I think we're respected in the actual community of IT as well. So there's 4 words there: welcoming, supportive, inclusive, and respected.
Nice, thank you. So to round things off, we're now going to do a quick speedy icebreaker, quick fire.
Okay.
And I'm going to start off with a few words, and you're basically going to tell me which one you prefer.
Okay.
Okay, so there's not a time limit on this, so please
Right,
take time.
there's not a right and wrong. You're going to analyse me now.
Unless you say Marmite, no, I'm joking. Okay. So, the first one, pen or paper?
Pen.
Okay. Television or reading?
Reading.
Chinese food or Mexican food?
Mexican.
Okay. Smartphone or notebook?
So notebook.
Notepad, sorry.
Notepad. I want to say notepad, but I'm going to have to say smartphone because it's just much more I can do with it.
Winning the lottery or spending more time with family?
Again, I'd quite like to say spending time. I do spend a lot of time with my family, but I would say winning the lottery.
There's no shame in that.
Okay, right.
Okay, I've got one for you then.
Okay.
A sandy beach or a pebbly beach?
Sandy beach, because I like to swim, and sometimes on the big pebbles it really hurts your feet.
What's the most interesting place you've travelled to?
Interesting. Okay.
Or your favourite?
Favourite. There's lots of favourites. I absolutely adore. I'm trying to think of somewhere I'd love to live. There's probably 2 places, but my favourite probably is Vancouver Island.
Okay.
Just fell in love with it.
Okay. And we've briefly touched on this actually. I won't ask you again about your 3-course meal. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Never walk away. Try and fix it.
That's good advice.
In life, in work, and anything. So.
Who gave you that?
an old uncle of mine who passed away quite a few years ago, but I was really close to him. He was really worked in the dockyard in Plymouth for many years, and he was a really nice guy. And he used to come up with all these snippets every so often. And as a teenager, you're like, oh God, this is so boring. But he just told me that one day, and it just resonated with me. So yeah, I always remember that.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
If you could switch places with someone, who would it be and why?
Anybody in the world?
Anybody.
Gosh, I didn't have to work too hard. But somebody that's respected as well. Oh, that's really quite hard, actually. Even though I'm quite introverted and I could never be an actress, I quite fancy swapping places with an actress for the day. So somebody like, I don't know, who gets all the cool films nowadays? Something like Jennifer Lawrence or something like that.
Nice. What's your favourite breakfast cereal?
Crunchy Nut Cornflakes. You like those two?
I like all cereals.
Full of sugar. Grace would say full of sugar. There you go.
Okay. If you had to eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow. Probably a salad, but with lots of different things in. So like crunchy croutons and some nice diced seared beef in there, some nice vegetables, bit of Stilton cheese in there too. So like a really mixed salad, so I've got a bit of everything. That's really cheating, but it'd be my own made-up salad, wouldn't it? So yeah.
Nice. Yeah. If you could hang out with any cartoon character, who would you choose and why?
Wow, somebody that was fun. So we're talking about old cartoons, and I don't know all the Marvel ones, so I probably don't know all them. Oh God, something like Betty Boop, old school.
Oh, if you could bring back any fashion trend, what would it be?
They'll probably come back in and I don't realise, but I did like the old flared jeans back in the late 70s. So yeah, but there's probably somebody out there wearing them anyway, but something like that, yeah.
Okay, let's imagine you become Prime Minister, President, however it is. What's a law you would like to introduce
A law.
that's not already in place?
Okay, fine. Probably just something about people being more equal. So, nobody should be in this country should be hungry, should be without a roof over their head, should be without the relevant health care. And that should be a law, rather than people's personal circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one.
Which year would you visit in a time machine?
Forward or back?
Say back.
Back, okay. So it's probably the year I was happiest. Well, I'm happy now, don't get me wrong, but I think back in probably like that sounds awful, 1984, because that's when I finished my A levels, and I had this lovely summer off where I didn't work, and I come from a place in Cornwall called Tor Point, which is by the coast. And I was just friends, 18, so we could go drinking, and we just hung up on the beach every day. And it was before people went off to uni and college, so it was just like a really carefree summer holiday. I always remember that. But it was for a finite time, so you couldn't do it like that all the time. But something like summer of 1984.
Who would you invite onto your talk show?
I keep asking other questions back to them. Living and dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Something like Henry VIII, because he always gets a really bad press. And I just like to, he probably was a horrible person, but I'd just like to know for sure. Also, I found it a very interesting period in history when I studied it, and all his wives. I thought that's very interesting. So something like that. More than one person.
Yeah.
Okay. Billy Connolly, because he still makes me laugh more than anything. He's just a funny guy, and I think he's really interesting, and he tells those lovely stories as well. I'm trying to think of someone else in history. Something like Queen Elizabeth I, because back then women had literally no rights, and she must have been so either clever or hard to get where she was, and she was probably surrounded by people trying to take advantage of her all the time. So her as well then.
Nice.
I always think going back and seeing if you can ask someone back in history, I always think that'd be quite interesting, because we've only got our perceptions of
exactly.
what we're like.
We only know what we're told through history. I mean, that's like Henry VIII. He, everything you makes him look. I don't know, probably was overweight, and he probably did have gout and something else. But was he that horrible, or were people around telling him things about these people that he didn't know, and that's why he decided to cut people's heads off? I don't know.
Yeah, 6 wives, wasn't it?
Yeah. Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded,
survived. Yeah.
So his last wife probably was very relieved when he died before her.
You should get her on the talk show. That would be interesting.
Yeah, she's called Catherine Parr. She's apparently a very skinny little woman, but yeah, she must have either been very lucky or just. Well, I think she's a fair bit younger than him, so probably outlived him for that way as well. So yeah, but like you say, history. We're taught history, so how do we know it's true back then? Going forward, though, in 100 years, they might look at the state of our country now and think, oh, people have given, I won't say an ex-prime minister, but given someone a bad time. Was he really that bad? So.
Nice. Well, that's a wrap. We'd like to thank you for coming on to our podcast and for discussing your journey, all things HR. It's great getting to know you more and learning more about what you do. So
brilliant. Thank you for having me. And also, I think what you're doing is great. It's very different, very new, and hopefully you get a lot out of it and people will listen.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed getting out of your shell a little bit.
Try.
We'll get you on again sometime.
Yeah, not video though. Only if you pay for hair and makeup then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.